Hi there YouTube, welcome to Deaf, Defending a Friend. Does God make people deaf and blind? There is a verse in the Bible that brings up this very question. Exodus chapter 4 verse 10 to 13 makes it seem almost as if God claims to be the cause of deafness and blindness. It reads, "Then Moses said to the Lord, Please Lord, I am not a man of words, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I am slow of speech and tongue. Then the Lord said to him, Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes the mute or the deaf, or the seeing or the blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now then, go, and I, even I, will be with your mouth, and will teach you what ye shall say. But he said, Lord, please send the message by whomever else you choose." So, if God does not cause health disorders, then how do we make sense of this verse? Or does he cause deafness and blindness? Let's find out. Does God use his power to create various sicknesses, diseases, and congenital defects? Well, in this video, I will contend that the answer is no. He created perfect, flawless, and sinless beings, and it is sin that damages God's creation, resulting in disease and defects that we see. In ancient times, people believed that God caused everything to happen just the way he wanted it to. So when Adam sinned, God wanted him to. When a person was murdered, God wanted it to happen. When a child was born blind or deaf, then God was making that child that way. This leads to ideas that health and wealth were evidence of God's blessing, and that sickness and poverty were evidence of God's cursing, both of which were connected in their understanding to sin. Therefore, if a person had a health problem, then they were ostracized as sinners. The book of Job illustrates the wrongness of this type of understanding. In chapter 1, God declares that Job is a righteous and perfect man in all his ways, but Satan alleges that God is lying and that Job only pretends to be loyal. God grants Satan permission to have access to Job, and what does Satan do? He brings disease. Now this is a critical point, because God did not require that Satan bring disease. Satan could have given Job more wealth, property, or popularity, but he didn't, because Satan is a destroyer. In doing this, Satan revealed his true character. And in addition, Job's friends came along and accused Job of sinning and that God was punishing him with sickness. But we know better because we have the backdrop. God did not bring this upon Job. Jesus dealt with the same misunderstanding in his day, and this is why many religious leaders were angry with him. In their limited understanding, they believed that what he was doing was placing himself above God by healing people. To them, the sickness was God's punishment on people, and when Jesus was healing them, they believed that he was overruling God's judgment. So what exactly is God saying to Moses in Exodus chapter 4 verse 10 to 13? Well, it's very simple. God is saying, Moses, I am the creator. I am the one who built human beings with the ability to speak. Don't be afraid. I can give you the words to say. God was merely speaking in various figures of speech to give Moses reassurance that God would be with him when he went to confront Pharaoh. Additionally, the text is about God creating the human species, not the disease with which we suffer. The text says, Who makes the mute or the deaf, or the seeing or the blind? Not who makes people mute and blind, or who makes muteness or deafness and blindness. Thus, he is saying that all people are his, those with disease and those without disease. The Bible only teaches that God used his power to create three people: Adam, Eve, and during the incarnation of Jesus. All three were sinless at the start, but only one stayed that way. And when God created Adam and Eve, he gave them the ability to procreate. That's the ability to create beings in their own image. Now, when they broke from God's design for life, they changed themselves, and their descendants were born with the changes that they had caused in themselves. We inherit our parents' features and their defects and their strengths and weaknesses. That's how it works. All human beings born into the world are a result of humans exercising this God-given ability to procreate, yet without God intervening to make it happen a certain way. This includes the miracle births of the Old Testament like Isaac, Samson, and Samuel. In those cases, God did not cause the pregnancies. God simply healed a health problem, in this case infertility, and those human beings, husband and wife, chose to have intimate relations, which resulted in the pregnancies. If after God had healed those fertility problems and those women never had physical relations with their husbands, then no pregnancies would have occurred. However, these miracle births were not what happened to Mary. God creates the design for human procreation. He built the world in which we live, provides the sunshine, the rain, the nutrition, the air that we need in order to thrive. He sustains the laws of physics and the laws of health upon which life operates, and in this way, God is involved. But God does not cause defects in His creation. Those occur simply because human beings have broken the design that God has created.